All right. So the Guardians Gala is our February live event in EVE Online. It appears that it will now be a seasonal, and it is vaguely themed around Valentine's Day. The in-game, in-universe kind of setting for it is that the Angel Cartel, which is a major pirate organization that operates largely in Mimitar space, uh, that is a very large organization. It's actually almost as big as an empire, and so they are friends with the Serpentis, and they have a contract with the Serpentis. So all of the Serpentis equipment, all of the Serpentis ships, and stuff like that is actually developed by the Angel Cartel. And most of the Serpentis security is pulled by Angel Cartel as well, because the Angel Cartel have much better like forces, like actual combat forces, whereas the Serpentis Corporation is just a bunch of basically drug cookers and such. So so to celebrate this kind of union between these two organizations, every year they have this Guardians Gala, and they, in order to try to keep Capsuleers from being able to get too involved in it, they put their better sites in wormhole space. But there will be sites. The Guardian Gala sites will be available or are available everywhere, um, with both combat sites and hacking sites. So much closer to like the winter event, which had the hacking sites as well as the standard combat sites within the storms. But now you don't actually have to go to a storm; they show up wherever. The data sites do need to be probed down, and they are reasonably difficult. They're probably about the same as before, which I can't remember the exact number for the sensor strength that it takes to get it, but it's enough that if you don't have a bonus ship, it's going to be hard to hit those numbers to get into the sites. The combat sites themselves are a little bit harder than the winter sites. My Icky Tursa got by kind of by luck. The way I've kind of seen it is it seems that a good Tech 1 battle cruiser or battleship should be able to run these sites, but it is absolutely true in these sites, and it's something that we found, that two battle cruisers have an almost trivial time, where one battle cruiser, even a good battle cruiser, will have a risky time. Just because of the way that the aggro works and how fast you can kill things and how ranges work and stuff like that within the site, having even just two guys working together makes the sites significantly more manageable. And so one of our things that we've been practicing with is remote rep Drex. For the VIP sites, they do seem a little bit stronger. The group that I saw was doing remote rep Leshak's and Dominic's, about 4 or 5 of them. Um, that was clearly overkill for the sites. In fact, they were shipping down to Drex after that. I heard our two Drex were able to run a site in high sec with zero concern for our safety. In fact, the nice thing is that the Drex can carry remote support, so that way, if you get into PvP or something like that, you can still support each other like a spider tank operation as well. So like the local tank still holds, and yet you still can also support each other. So it's a really good ship and idea to fly as a fleet within these sites. As far as
Cool.
the rewards go, the combat sites themselves give about 30 to 40 million per site in normal sites, with 200 to 300 million ISK for the VIP sites. Especially for high sec sites, the bounties are actually quite good. Um, the one site that I ran, I think I got roughly 30 million ISK worth of loot in it, or worth of value in it, with about half of it being in bounties, and about a third of the actual loot that I pulled out of it being in overseers effects. There is some skewing of numbers right now because of things like skins being worth a lot more, and those are going to plummet down. But a lot of the value is in um, the bounties and in the overseers effects. And overseers effects are, of course, a commodity which is purchased by NPC orders. So it doesn't matter how many of those fled the market; those will continue to be worth money as long as you can get them to like a Concord DED station or something like that. And so if you want to go and just run these things consistently, it's good ISK. Now, that being said, they are a lot more rare than they were in the previous event sites, or in winter events. And so uh, looking for sites is much more painful. And especially in high sec, these sites are already very overwhelmed. We saw everything from golems to vargers to tengus
Mm.
already in these sites. Now it'll probably
So
like
marauders.
what?
Those are
Yeah,
marauders.
yeah, those are marauders. So the problem is that most of the loot is in the final boss, and so if you're in a site like that in high sec, the person who does the most damage on the boss gets the lion's share of the loot. So when you're talking like a marauder like a golem that can do so much damage so well, especially when it can apply to a battleship. It's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to bring that's going to beat that in damage? But we still found plenty of sites for us to run. My wormhole buddies also found it difficult to find enough sites to run. That seems to be the biggest concern. Low sec may be a decent place if you are willing to roam around and find the sites there, because you can then fight off people, and maybe other people won't be running them as often, but it's hard to say. And it's worth noting that the low sec sites and the null sec sites won't be worth any more ISK than a high sec site. It's just you won't have to worry about all the competition. A couple things also, there are waves before the final boss that have battleships. So as I said, the DPS is a little bit higher than it was before. Also, the Angel Cartel, since they're using projectiles, they're explicitly doing mostly EM and explosive, which means they're doing the off damage to the Serpentis ships. So if a Vindicator comes in, they'll be doing mostly kinetic thermal. If the Macarial comes in, it'll be mostly doing EM and explosive. So you either need to tank Omni, or better yet, use a reactive armor hardener. The enemies can reposition, so you can't just kite them out. In particular, the Hugin seems to reposition. There's always one rat that likes to reposition, even if you aren't moving. And it seems like it's the Hugin this time. But one thing to note, if you don't clear, if like there's one last rat, in previous editions, it could get like bugged. So like if you don't clear the whole rat wave, the next wave doesn't come. In these sites, the next wave comes. So if you don't finish clearing the site or the rats in time, the next wave will just show up. So even if one rat gets warped off or gets bugged or whatever, the site will continue going. And as soon as you kill the MC, the entire site finishes. All of the other rats disengage immediately and warp off. The rats themselves bring every E-war except for jams and disruption. So they don't bring anything to affect your application. So they won't jam you, and they won't target tracking disrupt or missile disrupt, but they will damp, newt, web. Excuse me. And these are 90% vigilant webs, mind you. So you're not going anywhere in these sites most of the time. Scram, disrupt, etc., etc. Target paint, but they do not jam, they do not target, or they do not tracking disrupt, and they do not missile disrupt. So don't worry about any of that. The newt pressure didn't seem overwhelming. The damage from the MC was probably about 1.5 to 2 times as just the general damage of the site. That was the one time that we started being like, oh, under the wrong conditions, we might have to like help rep. And that was in the high sec site. So I imagine in the wormhole sites, it'll be even worse. Also in the high sec site, most of the time the MC was by itself. I think in the wormhole sites, if the MC does have a wave with it, which I think I saw that once, then that would make it significantly more dangerous. Let's see. The hacking version of the sites, I ran one of them. They're a little bit more interesting than last time. So basically, in the previous event site, you just warp to it, and the hacking can would be like 8K away. It'd be a single can, and you're just done. In these, they're much more involved. So you warp there, and there's basically an Ashterothi, and the cans are both above and below the Ashterothi, scattered kind of around. So it's a good opportunity to practice some manual piloting, or at least use some situational awareness to go hit the cans in an order that is pretty efficient. Overall, nothing jumped out at me being like amazing out of the cans. It was it came across as a pretty good data site, which in high sec is fine. I think I got like 15 million with only like 3 or 4 million in actual overseers effects. Okay, so but on top of that, when you're doing all these sites, let me just I can show off a little bit on my screen here.
Okay.
You will have tasks. Let me see here. Yeah, so you can see that I have these tasks over there. Yes, there. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, all right, I figured out the camera thing.
It's like a
weatherman.
Right,
so yeah, exactly. So we've got the Guardian Gala tasks. There's basically just 2 of them, and there's going to be one combat one and one exploration one. It doesn't seem to Like before, it could fill up with one or the other. Like you could just fill up with mining tasks and then just be SOL. That doesn't happen here. You have one combat task and one mining exploration task, and those rotate between. Like right now, I have so many guests defeated. It could be defeat the MC. It could be enter the site. Whatever. And then likewise, it could be enter the hacking site, hack a can, so many cans, etc., etc. One thing to note: the next thing doesn't start until you clear like you accept the reward. So as soon as you keep an eye on your task, and as soon as you complete the task, go ahead and click on it so you get your points. So your points will open up this track. So there's only 4 different items in this case. So there's going to be the Rifter Amaranthine Mantle skin, which looks like this. The Amaranthine Mantle skin is the skin of the Guardian Gala. That's why it has
it's nice.
the logo of the yep.
It's really
That's why it has the
nice.
logo of the Guardian Angel on it as the primary logo. If you see on the front of the Rifter over here, it has the Guardian Angel logo. Next is the agency support drop, which is going to just have some booster or agency drugs in it. And then the Cinnable Serpentis skin. The Serpentis skin is, of course, like basically solid black. So a solid black Cinnable, which is kind of cool. And a solid black Macarial, which, I mean, if I didn't have the Angel Hex, then maybe, but, in honor of their relationship, they're making a skin for the Angels are putting the Serpentis skin on their ships. So you can get those, and I believe that the only way to get these skins is by doing this event, because these are going to, as soon as you complete these apply on your character when you get them. So who knows whether or not next year they will have these same skins, or maybe they'll pick 2 more ships to release a Serpentis skin for. That's more likely. So chances are, if you want to get these skins, this is going to be the only way to get it, which means having these skins will show that you did it, which is kind of cool. If you want to find these sites, though, using the agency isn't the actual Guardians Gala section of the agency isn't the best way to do it. If you go 1 tab over to the exploration section and go to combat anomalies, you can see where the combat anomalies are. That being said, I'm not even 100% confident that Guardian Gala sites show up on this thing, but it doesn't seem to. Somebody can correct me or whatever at
I
some
don't
point.
think they did last time either. I could be wrong too.
Well, no, they have up until now. Every single time you could see them through normal anomaly detection methods, i.e., you can see them one system away when you're in the agency. But it seems like I never, as we were wandering around, I never saw them, even though we saw them in the systems we jumped into. So either it was even more rarer than I thought, or maybe the agency isn't showing Gala sites. But if somebody's seen one, then please say so in chat, so that way we can get that corrected real quick. So, and then also, of course, there's the login rewards. So during this time, oops, that's not it.
I think I can bring those up. I think we're seeing your screen backwards, by the way, but it's okay. I think people will be able to navigate that in the game. So
sure, yeah. So then also with the rewards, you can see that there is a Tempest Amaranthine Mantle skin, Maelstrom Spirit skin, Typhoon Spirit skin, and then the Vindicator, Vigilant, and Daredevil Spirit skin as well. So the Spirit skin is the basic skin of the Guardian Gala. It is the kind of leopard print, red and white and black that uses kind of the Guardian or the Angel Cartel printing on it. And so there's already a lot of spirit skins on these for a lot of different ships, and these skins actually do drop in the sites as well. But these are going to be given out. These are new ones again. So now they've added angel skins on the Serpentis ships for logging in, and then you get the Serpentis skins for the angel ships if you do the event site or if you do the event points. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, either way, let's see. Let me pull up my notes again.
Looks fun.
Also, at the same time, the Hearth Surge skin is back on the market, and they have a discount, which okay. I mean, how do you have a limited release and have it on discount during that entire release and still have that be a discount? But whatever. Maybe that was just for the packs.
Yeah, I think it's just the
Um,
packs.
okay, well that makes more sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But there is actually two kind of cool ones. If you buy 30 Days of Omega, um, during this period of time, which I think it ends on the 28th, somebody can correct that too. Um, then you, if you buy 30 Days of Omega, you also get the Heart Surge skin for the Jackdaw. And if you buy 500 Plex, which is the equivalent of 30 Days of Omega, then you'll get the skin for the Spitpole, the Heart Surge skin for the Spitpole. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm looking it up
Word to the
now.
wise, don't buy either of those with Plex hoping to sell it later, because that means that there's more of them on the market than people are willing to buy.
All right. Cool, Ash. So we always ask this question. I think you've already told us, but can you just reiterate how people can get involved with this? You said that they're a little harder to find this time. Do you think that's a bug? Do you think that'll get fixed?
Uh, well, I think that it was a consequence of the fact that they were so easy to find in previous in the winter event, because the winter events had them compressed. So when you went to the storm, there were a ton there. But this is like they're everywhere, but there is only so many per constellation or whatever. So it's just a matter of, you got to get out there and just start roaming around.
Okay.
And it's actually kind of cool because so we found this one system, and I still don't understand why. Like it connects through to something, so it's not like a dead end or anything like that. But it must be one of those systems that just gets rerouted around all the time, because there's a system with like 10 different anoms, including anoms that escalate to like 4 of 10s, sitting in this system in high sec, just like nobody's touching it. And when we got in there, there was 2 Gala sites, and there didn't seem to be any particular reason why this system would be more out of the way than others. So that's one of the things I really like about these kinds of events, is that when you just go wandering around, if you start paying attention, that's when you start like figuring out all the cool stuff.
Yeah. We have some questions for you. Want to answer some?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So first one here is, have previous events started off with few sites and had the frequency increase later because apparently there's a severe lack of sites? I think you were already talking about that.
CCP can dial up and down the frequency of the sites. How often they do that, whether or not they do that, I don't want to speculate about, but I do know that they do have the capability of it, and I'm pretty sure that they've done it in the past.
Right. Okay. Another question is, I had it here a second ago. Sorry, it's ask your question again if I haven't answered it. I think there was only 2 other questions, but let me ask you a question while I find this other one. We've talked about this a number of times. The Eros Blossom skins, the Heart Surge skins. What's the difference? And what was that third one? There was another.
Yeah. So I've mentioned this before. I'm sure I've done it on show. So this is a form of correction. But like, so there's 3 different pink skins, and I often get them all confused. So there's the Eros Blossom, the Heart Surge, and the Rosetta Dawn skin.
Right.
So I previously had accidentally believed that the Eros Blossom was the breast cancer awareness skin that was released once and only once. That's actually not true. That is the Rosetta Dawn skin for the mining ships. So the Rosetta Dawn, or the other one, the one that you wanted, getting back on track. Now I've got my all 3 confused again.
The
So Heart
Blossom.
Surge, yeah, Eros Blossom
Eros
was the
Blossom.
old Valentine's Day Guardians Gala skin. So they released it in, I think, 2017 and 2018. But then 2019 and 2020, or well, I guess it's 21. So 2020, 2021, they released the Heart Surge instead. So will they ever release the Eros Blossom again? Will somebody in CCP figure out that it's a good way to something else to make next year's Valentine's Day different than this Valentine's Day, or maybe they'll throw it in later in this. Who knows? Since they've actually sold it twice already on 2 different Guardians Gala, so the idea that the Eros Blossom skin could come back someday is definitely open, but it doesn't seem to be back this particular Guardians Gala, but the Heart Surge skin is.
Okay. Well, here is a question from the people watching. This is Naughty93. Can Marauders do low-sec sites?
Low-sec sites are the exact same as the high-sec sites. The problem with these sites, I forgot to mention this, is that there are no gates. So there's zero safety, and you're going to be scrammed and totally webbed down the entire time. So yeah, if you want to bring your Marauder into low-sec and run them, go for it.
All right. Nick asks, do they go after drones?
Yeah. So these things are designed to spread aggro, which is one of the reasons why having multiple players is really important, because you almost never have the entire room of aggro. But what that means is that especially if you're by yourself, there's nobody else for the enemy to spread to than your drones. So if you launch drones, you will not have you will be losing drones within a few seconds from my findings. Even salvage drones were starting to be attacked within 10 seconds, because the AI is looking for a secondary target, and if it's the only secondary target, it finds it very juicy.
Right. Okay. Its Marauder low-sec sounds like a broken heart waiting to happen. That's from.
I strongly agree with that. That being said, I have definitely seen Marauders roam around low-sec and get work done, because the Bastion being able to make them immune to E-War and giving them massive tanking, and their ability to just kind of hold the line long enough, and even so, like, basically the second you come out of Bastion, you can micro warp drive, or I have seen Marauders get away with way too much in low-sec. Not mine. Mine blew up like a chump.
Like they should. They also are bait, so sometimes people in Marauders want you to attack them, and that's
yeah, that's my point. Like, don't underestimate the tank of a Marauder with a Bastion module on.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Ashterothi. I appreciate all that. I think that's all the questions. Guardians Gala, can't wait to get into that stuff. I've been waiting for this for a little while now. It's funny, it didn't come out yesterday. It came out today. Is that right? Or didn't come out 2 days ago?
It started today.
Today.
It started
okay.